I got to put two people in the ring, him and Shakur, man. I'm waiting for,
No, you know what you got to do? You should have told him. You should have took the money that I offered him. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't offer somebody else the same thing, right?
But I'm just saying, you can't.
No. Did he just offer somebody the same thing I offered him?
But I'm just saying, he a different
No. Did he? Yes or no?
All right, well, we y'all gonna make it happen. You keep coming to money. I'm starting to see things, and I've been doing my own personal research, and I'm starting to realize with boxing, everybody's scared to take an L. It's like nobody want to go in there and just fight the fight. Everybody ducking. Everybody acting like it's about money. Oh, I want to fight. It's like that's like I said, that's the new duck. Yeah. Act like it's about the purse. Oh, they not giving me enough, or why I'm not. Like, what is your real feel about boxing in the sport? Like, what is going on? Is the purse dispute the new duck?
Yes.
That's a new form of ducking?
Yes, because
ask for something that you know you're not even on the level of getting. That's just the new way of saying I don't want to fight you.
If these promoters would just give the fans what they want, more people would watch.
But it's not just the promoters. The promoters can try.
It's the fighters too.
If the fighter don't want to fight, or they like, oh, that's not enough money, or they come up with 1,000 different excuses on why not to fight, hey, can't do nothing about it.
Well, so much was said there, so let's break it down. Shakur Stevenson said, a lot of fighters are ducking, and the way they do it is by asking for more money, which ironically, that's exactly what he did to Devin Haney. When Devin Haney offered Shakur Stevenson the biggest payday of his career by far, Shakur Stevenson turned down the Undisputed Fight, the biggest legacy fight of his career, because of money. To his own admission, Shakur said he wanted more money to fight Devin Haney, despite the fact he said before that the Gervonta fight is for the money. However, the Devin Haney fight is for legacy because it's for Undisputed. But when the time came, Shakur turned down the legacy fight for Undisputed against Devin Haney to ask for more money. To make matters worse, Shakur Stevenson also said he doesn't care about money. He a legacy fighter. He fights for legacy. He doesn't fight for money. Go check it out. Like Dante always says, the worst weapon in the world is a microphone and a camera. 2 times Shakur described what being a duck is in the sport of boxing. He said, if you turn down your biggest payday like Lomachenko did against him, that's why he called Loma a duck. Then he also said, fighters who ask for more money, that's a duck, like Frank Martin did against him. Now remember, this is what Shakur said. This is not what Devin Haney said. This is not what Bill Haney said. This is not what I said. This is not what the fans said. This is what Shakur Stevenson said out of his own mouth. Shakur basically gave a definition of what being a duck is in the sport of boxing, and he even gave examples. But the irony of it all, Shakur Stevenson did both against Devin Haney, because he turned down his biggest payday to fight for his biggest legacy day, Undisputed against Devin Haney, only to ask for more money, after claiming he doesn't care about money. Well, according to Shakur himself, not me, or the fans, or Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson basically called himself a duck, if we going by his own definition. Remember, Shakur turned down 3 offers to fight Devin Haney for Undisputed. The first one was the same deal as the Kambosos deal, the same deal Devin Haney took. The second one was $3.5 million guaranteed to fight Devin Haney for Undisputed. Now, we all know Shakur has never made $3.5 million till this day. This is by far his biggest payday till this day, and it was guaranteed money. Then Shakur turned down the final offer of 75-25% split. The reason why Shakur turned that down is because he wanted more money. He wanted a 50-50 split. And then he said that 25% wouldn't be his biggest payday, even though later on he came out and said he didn't know if that 25% would be or would not be his biggest payday. Check it out.
So
ain't
I
it.
offer Shakur his biggest payday.
I know where you going.
That's what he said.
Cap.
Yeah.
He just capping for like social media. Like he not gonna be like realistic about the situation.
Hold on, but if that would have been on pay-per-view, you wouldn't have made more money with it on pay-per-view, like with the way everything
We never
was?
got into that conversation. I don't know. I never got into that conversation. Yeah. So even the part where he said, "What?"
Well, if Shakur didn't know that 25% was gonna be or wasn't gonna be his biggest payday, then why didn't he find out? Why did he turn it down? More importantly, if Shakur really believed that 25% wasn't gonna be his biggest payday, then why didn't he accept the other offer Devin Haney sent him, the $3.5 million guaranteed? That was for sure Shakur's biggest payday. So why didn't he accept that instead of the 25%? However, Shakur, as the mandatory, asked for 50-50 to fight the undisputed champion. Now, Shakur Stevenson recently did an interview with Millie City Boxing where he discussed that 25% and the notion of that 25% coming out to be $8 million from the pay-per-view revenue and the fight as a whole, the gate, the TV rights overseas, so on and so forth. I'm about to play the clip in a few. I'm glad Shakur cleared the situation up. He clarified that who said that, Antonio Leonard's son, I believe, is not part of his team. However, keep in mind while listening to the clip, to Antonio Leonard's son's defense, regardless if he's part of Shakur's team or not, when he said the $8 million, he was not talking about the $8 million being guaranteed. Instead, he was giving a hard estimate to what the 25% would have had came out to for Shakur from and after the pay-per-view revenue, the gate, and the TV rights overseas, so on and so forth. That was a projection, not a guarantee number. Check it out.
It was a podcast that is picking favorites. So you got these people out here, they outside, they got their favorites and somebody that they're close to. So it's easy for them to have a show and spread narratives. So that's when it comes down to, okay, we got, and this is what they did on their show. They brung somebody up there who says that they're part of my team. Just because you say you're a part of my team, do that mean you're a part of my team? You have to have like the real knowledge or know like, okay, this dude is a part of Shakur's team, not just make up some lies. And I think with that podcast, they brought up somebody up there that I met one time in my entire life. I met this dude one time in my entire life, and they brought him up and said, he's part of Shakur's team. And now they're asking him a bunch of questions, and he don't know what to say because at the end of the day, he's not a part of my team. He don't know nothing about me.
Right.
Like I met this dude. Literally, I met this dude a couple months ago, one time, and it was a hi and bye. What's up? Nice to meet you. This, that, and the third. And the podcast put it out there as this was my team. So then he got up there and he put out a false narrative. And when he put the false narrative, everybody ran with it, and they put it all over social media. And it just was so many lies that was just spreading on my name.
100%. And, just knowing the math and stuff like that, the 25%, 8 million, it just didn't even make no sense, to be honest with you. Like,
but it was a lot of people that don't know the math that believed it. So now you spread like narratives where everybody is running with, well, Shakur turned down 8 million. Come on now. Like, really think about me. I'm a fighter. I love to fight. Like, I love boxing. I've been boxing my entire life. What the hell do I look like turning down $8 million? Like, in that situation. And it's for Undisputed. Like, what do I look like? Like, all that just didn't make sense. Even the turn down shit does not make sense because that wasn't the end of the conversation. That wasn't the end of it. It was more so, okay, I hear y'all. Now I'm about to enforce my mandatory, and let's see what the WBC decide that I gotta take. If y'all just gonna offer me this little crumb, let's see what the WBC decides for me to take, and then it just happens. This dude decides to go up and wait. If I was offered 8 million, I'm jumping. Jump quick. Come on. 8 million, let's do it. Set it up.
Now, even though I'm glad Shakur clarified, even though he's signed to Antonio Leonard Promotion, the son has nothing to do with this. He's not part of the team. However, even then, since Antonio Leonard's son is not part of the team, he's still the biggest Shakur Stevenson fan, if not one of the biggest. And he was given a hard estimate based on the numbers he know of, or his opinion. So this is basically what the Shakur Stevenson fans think of that 25%. We can all agree, even if that 25% doesn't come out to 8 million, it would have had still came out to Shakur Stevenson's biggest payday. We can all agree with that. Additionally, I even agree with Antonio Leonard's son estimate. I truly believe before the Edwin De Los Santos fight, Devin Haney versus Shakur Stevenson for Undisputed would have had did approximately the same pay-per-view numbers as Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. We know that fight did 700,000 on pay-per-view, and they didn't even talk trash. So, since that's the case, if Shakur versus Devin Haney fight pay-per-view numbers does anything close to that, Shakur will get paid more than 8 million. Therefore, Antonio Leonard's son, numbers or estimate, was pretty accurate. He gave a good example. So when Shakur says, if I'm making 8 million, sign me up, let's go, let's do it. Well, you didn't. And when I believe Wallow asked Shakur, if you believe you could beat Devin Haney, why didn't you accept the fight? If you believe you that much better than him, why not accept his offer and beat him?
No doubt in your mind. You getting in the ring, you beating Devin Haney. Now, is another one after that?
Let me ask you a question then. I'm gonna answer your question with a question. Do you have two eyes?
Yes.
Can you pay attention to boxing? Look at him and look at me.
I actually got three. I got third eye, but that's another story. But I'm gonna say
look
this.
at him and look at me though. I'm a way better fighter than him. He's not on my level.
Now I'm gonna say this. If you know you're a better fighter than him, I know money is money. You got money. You got a bag. You're not broke. Why not say, you know what? I'm gonna take that to beat your ass and take your whole.
I didn't say no. I went to another direction.
Shakur obviously deflected and he talked about going another route, the WBC route, which I'm about to talk about that in a few. But he refused to answer the question as far as accepting the fight. If he believes Devin Haney was easy work, which obviously, clearly, he doesn't believe that because he didn't accept the fight. Shakur did what fighters usually do when they duck, according to him, which is ask for more money. That's what Shakur Stevenson wanted. That's why he went another route. Instead of accepting Devin Haney's offer like Wallow asked him. More importantly, the bad news for Shakur, that offer is no longer on the table. That money is no longer on the table. If Shakur was gonna approximately make around 8 million from that 25%, well, guess what? That money is no longer there after his performance against Edwin De Los Santos, since Shakur put a bad taste in people's mouth. One thing Shakur had before the Edwin De Los Santos fight was his hype. He didn't have anything else. He didn't have any belt. He doesn't sell tickets nor fight on pay-per-view like Devin Haney and Gervonta do. The only thing Shakur brought to the table was hype. And after the Edwin De Los Santos fight, it's fair to say Shakur lost his hype, the only thing he had. So you can't really put Gervonta versus Shakur on pay-per-view or Devin versus Shakur on pay-per-view and expect to do the same amount of numbers on pay-per-view that those fights would have done before the Edwin De Los Santos fight. It's not going to happen at the moment in time. After that performance, it's going to be hard to convince the fans to buy a Shakur fight on pay-per-view. Shakur is going to have to make the fans forget about that performance. So even though I still want to see Devin Haney, Gervonta fight Shakur, don't expect them to fight Shakur at the moment in time. Due to that, the fans are not even calling for Gervonta to fight Shakur anymore because they saying they're not going to pay for it. After that performance against Edwin, they expecting Shakur to run all night against Gervonta. I mean, the key here, how you going to convince the fans to buy a Shakur pay-per-view fight, to actually spend money to watch the fight on pay-per-view. That's going to be hard to do after the Edwin De Los Santos fight. That's why, whatever the projection is for the 25% Shakur was going to make against Devin Haney, you could say divide that number by 2, 3, or 4 if the fight ends up being on pay-per-view. See, this is one of the main reasons why you don't overcook fights. You don't delay the fights. Things like this happens where fighters lose their hype, like Shakur just did. And even when Pacquiao, I remember when everybody wanted Floyd to fight Pacquiao, however, Pacquiao turned down the fight. Back in 2009, Prom for Prom, Pacquiao turned down the fight due to a steroid test. Then a couple years later, Pacquiao ended up getting knocked out by Marquez in 2012. At the time, Pacquiao lost all of the hype, and Floyd couldn't fight him till years later, till Pacquiao ended up rebuilding his own hype. And this is what's happening with Shakur today. He ended up losing all of his hype because of how he performed and fought Edwin De Los Santos. Additionally, on top of the fans, I don't even know if Gervonta and Devin Haney are still interested in the Shakur fight at the moment in time. No difference than Terrence Bud Crawford having Jermell Charlo on top of his hit list. That's the main guy Crawford wanted to fight till he underperformed against Canelo. Then Crawford changed his mind about fighting Charlo, where he said he no longer interested in that fight. So I wouldn't even be surprised if Devin Haney and Gervonta feel the same at the moment in time. This is why Shakur Stevenson game plan of building the Devin Haney fight or saving him for last till he fights Gervonta and getting the money fight out of the way backfired, because when he fought Edwin De Los Santos, his stock dropped due to the fact he underperformed in a lackluster performance and struggled against a fighter who wasn't ranked on the top 5 in the lightweight division, Edwin De Los Santos. Shakur has no one else to blame but himself because he chose that route. Instead of Shakur Stevenson accepting his biggest payday to fight Devin Haney for Undisputed, a fight that would have had catapulted Shakur Stevenson's career to another atmosphere if he would have had won the fight. Instead, Shakur Stevenson made excuses talking about going another route. So let's talk about this other route that Shakur Stevenson went through after Devin Haney activated his own mandatory to move up in weight to fight Regis to fight for the WBC title. Well, it ain't no secret. Shakur Stevenson turned down Devin Haney offers in order to go another route so he can make more money. This is what Shakur Stevenson said. That's why he said he tried to go the WBC route to see how much more money he can get, if any. Even though that would mean he will only fight for one belt against Devin Haney instead of Undisputed. If you didn't know, the WBC split would have had been only for the WBC belt being on the line, not Undisputed. The only way Shakur could have had fought for Undisputed is to agree to Devin Haney terms, and that's the 75-25% split, which wouldn't make any sense for Devin Haney to give up his Undisputed leverage to only defend his WBC belt in order to compensate Shakur to make a little bit more money. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Devin to sacrifice to make 135 for that. Shakur knows better than anyone, no one is going to give up his own leverage so the other guy could make more money. Shakur himself wouldn't do that. Just look at how the Devin Haney negotiations went. Shakur wouldn't give up any leverage. Matter of fact, Shakur even wanted Devin Haney to give up his own leverage. That's what Shakur Stevenson was doing with the WBC split. He wanted to fight only for one belt instead of Undisputed, so he can make a little bit more money, if any. Now we know if Shakur was in Devin Haney's shoes, he will never agree to anything like that. So why should Devin? To make matters worse, Shakur only activated his mandatory position after Devin Haney activated his mandatory to fight Regis at 140 and had already striked the deal to make $6 million guaranteed plus pay-per-view. So why will Devin Haney drop that? A deal with Eddie that he already agreed to fight another champ at 140 Regis. Why will Devin Haney drop that in order to please Shakur, a fighter who already turned down the Undisputed Fight he offered him. However, Shakur and some of you fans are telling me Devin Haney should have dropped the $6 million he already striked plus pay-per-view with Eddie to sacrifice by moving back down to 135 in order to fight Shakur Stevenson for only one belt. You guys wanted him to sacrifice to make 135 to only defend his WBC belt, not Undisputed, for the solo reason Shakur wants more money, so Shakur can make more money. Who will idiotically do something like that? Name me an A-side fighter that will do anything like that. Drop a deal he already has in order to please a B-side that already turned down 3 offers. And guess what? To only defend one belt instead of all of his belts. Come on now, make it make sense. Now, why will Devin Haney do anything like that? Especially when we're talking about Shakur Stevenson, the only fighter who was hating on Devin Haney by calling the Lomachenko fight a robbery. He was the only fighter in the world that did that, when the massive majority of the fighters and trainers had Devin Haney winning. So why will Devin Haney give up his own leverage for that guy? Make it make sense. Either or, business is business against an enemy or a friend. Devin Haney stood on business, however Shakur didn't. He wanted a handout. There's no handouts in the sport of boxing. That's why he ended up fighting on a Thursday against a fighter who was ranked number 6 or 7, Edwin de los Santos, where he nearly lost the fight, even though Shakur played it extremely defensive in that fight. Furthermore, I don't understand Shakur Stevenson logic when he said if he was presented with the same opportunity as Devin Haney to fight for Undisputed, he would have had took it in a heartbeat and did exactly what Devin Haney did. And I'm sitting here like, bruh, you did receive the same opportunity as Devin Haney did to fight for Undisputed with only one fight for the same deal, if not better. It's like Shakur is not making sense whatsoever, and when he was doing the interview, nobody checked him on that. Check it out.
Right now, the main person is Mr. So-called Undisputed.
Yeah, so-called.
So-called Undisputed.
That's what they say, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they. I mean, I respect the Undisputed,
Yeah, exactly.
but
For now.
he fought one fight, so I mean, it ain't really like to me. Like I respect what he done. I ain't hating on like what he done, but he fought one fight. I mean, if I was presented the same opportunity, it'd be the same thing. So I want to fight him though.
Yeah.
What's even more crazy is that Shakur Stevenson received a better deal and an easier opportunity to become Undisputed. Devin Haney had to sign a 3-fight deal to become Undisputed. He had to go overseas twice and then fight Lomachenko. However, Shakur, he received more money than Devin Haney was offered to fight Kambosos. Plus, Devin was already a champ. Shakur was not. Devin versus Kambosos was a unification. However, on the other hand, Shakur was not a champion like Devin Haney was. Shakur did not have to travel overseas twice like Devin Haney had to do. And Shakur received more money to fight for Undisputed, one shot without a rematch clause. You cannot beat that deal. So what the heck is Shakur talking about? If I was presented with the same opportunity, I would have took it. Clearly you didn't. And the reason why was because Shakur Stevenson wanted more money, even though he said he doesn't care about money. Last but not least, Shakur said if he would have had accepted Devin Haney offer, he don't believe the fight would have got made because he thinks Devin Haney was bluffing. Then when the reporter asked Shakur, if you think Devin Haney was bluffing, then why didn't you accept Devin Haney's offer in order to catch Devin Haney bluff? That's when Shakur Stevenson deflected by not responding to the question and talking about something completely different, just like he did against Wallow. Check it out.
What if you would have accepted it? Does that fight happen?
No, I don't think that the fight happens if I accept it. But I mean, I can't say nothing about it. It is what it is. But yeah, I think that's a duck. I thought that offer was bullshit, but I ain't really say no to it. I wanted to keep going and see what else can I get. What can the WBC demand? And I don't know. It could have been the same thing, or it could have been less or more. So you just never know what it would have been. But he decided to move up.
Why do you feel that it wouldn't have gone through, even if you did say yes? What else could have stopped it?
I don't think that they really want to fight me. Like deep down inside, I don't think that they want to get in the ring with a fighter like me right after the performance that they had with Lomachenko. I don't think that their confidence level was super high.
But why wouldn't you then just kind of call their bluff and be like, all right, let's see?
Because I told you I went another direction.
Right, true.
I went to the WBC and just enforced my mandatory, and I tried to do it that way. But at the end of the day, like I said, I can't force nobody to fight me. So.
Now, wait a minute. Shakur knows better than anyone. Going another route to ask for 50-50 from the WBC is not catching someone bluff. If you really thought Devin Haney was bluffing with his offer, clearly it sounds like Shakur is the one that's bluffing. Because if he didn't, he would have had accepted Devin Haney's offer instead of going to the WBC to ask for more money. He knew the offer was real from Devin Haney. That's why he didn't accept it. Since he knew if he would have had accepted the offer, the fight would have had got made. We wouldn't even be having this conversation if Shakur accepted Devin Haney's offer. If Devin Haney was bluffing, then Shakur would have had caught Devin Haney bluff. And we wouldn't be having this conversation. With the facts being laid out, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you disagree with anything that I said, then I challenge you to quote anything that I said you disagree with. I'll be waiting for it. However, I'm going to be waiting for eternity, since you cannot disagree with facts and the whole absolute truth. For any one of you guys that don't like the truth and how it sounds, how it makes you feel, where you guys react by deflecting, calling me biased, then I challenge you to quote anything that I said that's biased. Go ahead and quote me. If you guys see anyone that's hating in the comment section saying that, always ask them the $1 million question. Quote what Akhi said, that's biased. Quote what Akhi said, that's hating. Quote what Akhi said that you disagree with. And they won't, because they can't. Since the truth is undefeated. That's why Akhi is undefeated. That's why Akhi reporting is undefeated. Listen, I'm out. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.